All right, here we go. Welcome to whatever video is. Intro, hello. It's a great start. New game today. Another game. Another sort of short one, but not nearly as short as, let's say, like Barpatine. Today is Pools. Is the one that I have finished. I saw this on a Steam store page for a while. Kind of wanted it. I like these kind of horror games, but I don't know if this counts completely really as a horror game. But we'll get into it. The game is like, the store page kind of called it like an art gallery or a walking simulator. It's very like Backrooms inspired on purpose. Like you kind of walking through these weird areas of just liminal spaces. And your really only goal is to just kind of explore around and reach the end of whatever the level is. And you could look around, you can just check out what it's got going on. It can get probably just slightly creepy, but there's no like monsters in here. Nothing's chasing you. It's just kind of ambience and exploration. I really liked it. I don't know about, like, I still got this on sale for like $7. Maybe it's kind of, I don't know. Like, I think it retailed for more than that, like 13. Like, I don't know about that. But you get it, you really want it. I'd say go for it, because it is exactly what it looks like. A fun little, like, exploration thing. You spend a lot of the time walking around and looking for the exit, to be honest. Just kind of, like, look at stuff as you walk by them. Go, hey, that's cool. Hey, I like that. That's neat. But that's basically all it's got. That's all it is. That's all you got. Like, I would have to say I like the idea. It started to really stress my computer out, and I like kind of pulled the settings down on it. So you may need to check that you have the system requirements for this, because it seems to be kind of intensive, like a lot of these are that want to look realistic. I might be meandering a little bit here, but I'm not going to re-record this. They say this is going to go to VR, and I'm really interested to see what this is in VR. I bet it's pretty cool. But I would have to give this game like a huge thumbs up for two things. I really like its ambience. I like how just kind of unnerving it is. Like, if you never told anyone there wasn't anything gonna come after you, it would start to be really disturbing, and you would get kind of like, you know, like that liminal space dread will just kind of seep in at you. And then the level design I actually think is really clever, and I'm actually well done. Like, I'm surprised, because normally you could see people make games like this where you would just get lost, like constantly would just get lost. But this really designed their stuff in a way that you don't really get lost. You might feel like you're getting lost, like you keep ending up back in places you've been before, but you never get like 100% completely reset, because there are like loops within loops, so that you get pulled back to like a hub area or a section you had been in, but it's not just a full maze. Like, they've deliberately made it so that if you pick the wrong area, it'll take you back to a place that you already recognize, so that you can realize, hey, I took the wrong turn when I went to this branch. I'll just go back to that specific branch and go the other way and see what's on the other side of that. And I never really got super lost because of their level design. Like, it worked out really well. I'm actually really, it's a really good job I think they did on trying to help you not just get 100% confused and lost, because there is a progression that each level has that you reach what feel like checkpoints, even though there aren't checkpoints. The level has them built in. Like, you keep reaching an area that you know that you got to, but you keep ending up in a further zone, like checkpoints. But they did it entirely through just designing the levels that way, which is really cool. Actually really nice. A really good job on that. I never noticed that before, but I started to catch on that's what was happening. Let me see. You could beat this whole game. I beat this game in 2 hours. It says 2.4 on Steam. I went back for stuff for the achievements, but if you just wanted to play a quick game, it's kind of quick. You could just one sitting this. It's a fun little thing. I think the biggest issue I had was, even within that time, it started to get a little repetitive, especially when I got lost too often. Like, I really only wanted to play 1 or 2 levels and then stop. You know, you get it after a minute, right? Like, you're just exploring, and I don't know if you need to beat the entire game in one sitting, but you could. I did. It's not that bad. I would give you another recommendation on the settings menu. Must have known what I wanted because it had toggle sprint instead of hold sprint, and it also supports a controller, and I would just recommend a controller. Because why? Like, just sitting on the keyboard holding shift down and walking got kind of obnoxious when I could just sit back and, just hold walk on the controller and walk around. Like, it felt way more casual that way. But yeah, let me get to speaking about what achievements to watch for, because this actually has a couple to keep in mind. The last few games I did maybe didn't have that, but this one you won't be paying attention. There are a few. They're all just easily missable. Most of them might be complete, like, each chapter. You just, your typical nonsense. Beat each of the, I think, 6 chapters is one thing. There are a couple you can find on the way there, but there are, let's say, collectibles. I think chapter 2, the art one, like, I would have never, ever done that without a guide. I don't know what it is with people hiding stuff and having you go find collections of hiding stuff, but the art connoisseur one, I was never going to pull that off. I didn't even know I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what anything was. That one had a bunch of, like, circles in different places on chapter 2 that you had to look at to get to disappear, so you had to basically hunt the entire level down to find the circles, which is why I would say, unless you're a masochist, I would just use a guide, because that's crazy. So at least one of them is in a place you'll never just find it, so I don't... I just use a guide, honestly. I'm too lazy to be spending 8 hours chasing these down. But, like, there was one for finding one of the art pieces. So, I mean, if you got that, probably what you're looking for, but you still have to complete it entirely, and you can miss that. There was another point, did it my way, where, like, you were presented with 3 routes, and somehow I missed that because I was looking for that and I didn't know what it meant. Like, unless you just accidentally didn't take the middle path and you took either the left or right one, you wouldn't have got it. I mean, there was nothing that indicated that's what was going to happen or that's how you got it. So again, this might be very specifically a guide game, and I would say that you could complete the total game and go back and get them. It's not very hard. It's really probably better to go back and get them, because you can just casually explore the game, and then when you finish, you can look up all the spoilers you want and where to find the stuff. Some of them are kind of random. The one for I Said Look Behind You, one of the chapters, I don't remember which one, had a guy that you had to, like, spin around really fast to catch, which I think it said was not always there. So I just had to reload the level to try to get it. And even when I did, like, a quick 180, I might have overshot it, because I got the achievement, but I never saw the guy. So I don't know if I spun too quickly and it counted, and then because he went off my screen, he disappeared as fast as he appeared. So I don't know, but it does work. He is there in one of those areas. I think it was chapter 3 or 4. I'm telling you to look a guide up anyway. There's a couple that are missable through actions you would have never known to do or would have done. There was another one, I think, let me see. Yeah. Close contact with residents of a dark place. There's, like, one area, just a random area with just a duck, even though there were ducks all over the place. But there was, like, a very specific area you had to go to and touch a duck that's floating in the pool. There's no indication to tell you where that is. You have no idea which duck. You don't know. The achievement's extremely vague. So if you're intending, I feel like I'm repeating myself too much. You're probably gonna have to use a guide, because I have no idea how you do this on accident unless you touch, like, it doesn't even tell you that it's a duck specifically. So you would have to just interact with every single thing everywhere you went, and then there's even not a guarantee that spawned in that area. That's definitely one of the ones that doesn't spawn. There's another one for Dripping with Style. It just says witnessed unfathomable elegance. There's just a one lawn chair that has, like, a duck with a top hat. And the first time I played the game, I definitely saw that chair and it was not in there. So it has a chance not to spawn. You couldn't possibly know that. It doesn't tell you that. You don't know that chair would have somebody sitting in it if you just walk past it, right? So it's just crazy. Some of these are crazy. I don't know how you would ever get these. The only one I think you might be able to do is like error in production, because you had to reach an area you were never required to go to on just a branch that you may not have found. And then there was like a huge conveyor belt in like a factory that if you watched it for like 2 minutes, would have like a flamingo floaty instead of whatever was coming up the conveyor belt. Like you couldn't have known. Like you'd have to just be extremely explorative, you know. You'd never have done it. I only did two that I found, which was Not Afraid of the Dark, Heard the Ominous Bellowing, and 43% of people also did this because it was really easy to it just looked like a place you needed to go, and you ended up there, and if you just stayed there, you got it. Because it was trying to be creepy, but it's not that creepy. A different one was Perform a Dive Worthy of an Award. By that point, I was jumping off anything that let me jump off. Like, I don't know why. It's just, if you presented a diving board to me, I wanted to get on the diving board and jump off it. And eventually I found the one that gave me that just by walking past them and going, that'll be funny, and jumping off every diving board I could find. So unlike some of these other ones, like those felt like they were teased better, like they were very direct about which one you needed, right? So it's silly, you know. But I got all of them for this game in about 2 hours, 2.4 hours specifically. I even had to go back to get more footage just in case I talked for too long in this video. But I liked this. Now, I think it was on sale for like $7. If you can mind my mouse clicks, I will look up what it costs at the time of recording. $7.30. It retails at $9.79, so just under $10. Really up to you. I think this is a lot closer to maybe a $3 to $4 under $5 thing, but I'm being really nitpicky when it costs $7. Hey, what's saving $4 going to do for you, really? It's not that much, but I really like to have, maybe $1 per hour spent in something, and I beat it and went back and got what I needed in under $3. So it really kind of smells like if I had paid $2, I got all my money's worth and then some. But for $7, it was entertaining. But for $10, am I going to play it for 10 hours? No. 2 hours was more than enough for what I wanted to do. It's just, you open it, you look around, you go, thumbs up. It's a fun experience. 50-50. If you're really into this, if you're really into the backrooms kind of liminal space stuff, maybe you will like this. It's not very scary. It's just kind of ambience, so that's cool. But as far as could you get achievements relatively fast without a lot of effort and just kind of enjoy the experience while you do it? Yeah, this is definitely up that line. And make no mistake, I really do like this game. This is really fun for a walking sim because of all the neat little places you walk through. But yeah, I'm really questioning $7. I'm feeling like $5 or less. I'm feeling like $4 to $3, but that's only saving $3, and at the best, it's only saving $5. So I mean, whatever. This isn't a $20 game. This isn't a $30 game. So that's being probably too nitpicky. I'd say if you like it, grab it. It's an interesting enough time. As far as closing statements, what do we got? At the end of the video, I get to do my little outro where I just get to talk. I'm just gonna talk. Yeah, I don't know what we got going on. I'm still wondering if I'm gonna rename any of these videos or not, because achievement, I wanted to review games with completed achievements for, but sometimes games don't have achievements and I want to talk about them anyway. I feel like it might give the wrong idea about what I'm doing, because this is a lot closer to like a podcast, because I'm just gonna sit down and talk about something I finished. Like, I didn't write a script. I'm not doing a lot here. I'm just kind of have a general idea on what I want to do, and then I just hit record and we run it, so I might rename them. We'll see. I think probably this will still be the same. If I can come up with a good one, if you got a good name, I might tell me. But we're getting into I think Mortal Kombat 1 just released a DLC. Very tempting to go back to that now that I have something for me to go back to. It'd be fun to actually finish that. I think coming up soon we have like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero that I really want to have, but similar to Mortal Kombat, fighting games are really notoriously hard to complete sometimes. I did complete, I think, Mortal Kombat 11, but I don't have a video on that because I feel like that was too far in the past. I try to talk about stuff like as in order that they happen or when they're fresh. Otherwise, I'd be talking about like Jump Force, but it all depends. Like, we want to do, might do Dragon Ball, might go back to Mortal Kombat, finally finish that. I'm working on Peglin actually still, so we'll see where we get. See if I don't play Fortnite for too long and forget how to do everything else. But yeah, in the meantime, leave anything you do really would be really helpful. If you watched it this far, thanks. If you hit like, that's really useful. If you leave a comment, I appreciate, definitely. Thank you. It all helps. But I feel like that's gonna be it for this one. A fun little ambient kind of spooky walking sim game for cheap. This is what you're looking for. Simple enough to do. Achievements don't ask too much unless you aren't using a guide, in which case maybe they do. But that'd be it for me. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.